to Sunday. Some of you may have thought it's December 25th, and perhaps you were doubting that I was going to do an episode, but here I am. I thought I would do a short episode for you today. And I wanted to talk about a couple of things, but I also wanted to take just a few moments to talk about a new project that I'm working on. Now, for those of you who have been listening for a while, you know that I did a fictional podcast called Naui of the Lightning Tribe, and it is a podcast that I am extremely proud of. It is fictional, and it really doesn't have much to do with astral projecting or beyond body or shifting. It is completely fictional, but that is another aspect of who I am, and it is a part that I am proud of. And what I have decided to do to express myself even more, and by the way, I'm still working on this, is I wanted to create, or I am in the midst of creating a new YouTube channel, and I'm going to call that new YouTube channel Storyville, and it will be sort of a compilation of different stories that I'm working on in podcast form. There'll be stories for adults, stories for kids, kind of be like maybe a Netflix for podcasts in a way. It'll have different types of stories that I've come up with. And as I say, this is still a work in progress. I will let you guys know as I continue to progress on it. I want you to also know that this will not impact this channel at all. This channel will continue just as it is. However, I will be doing Storyville as well, and I will keep you guys apprised of everything. And there will be a story, by the way, that I am working on that is based on my travels. So it will relate to shifting more than anything else. And I will be calling that particular story Chronicles of Detective Bender. And it'll be a sort of a mystery sort of show. So looking forward to doing that. It'll be taking me out of my comfort zone, but there it is, guys. Just wanted to make that announcement. That's what's coming for me in 2023. So let's talk, experiences shifting. By the way, this morning I had an experience, actually some more towards the middle of the night. It was a relatively short experience, but I wanted to quickly kind of go over it and tell you guys about it. It was fairly standard. By the way, I was listening to talk. I wasn't listening to my normal storm sounds. And when I reached that middle space, I rolled off on to the floor, and I didn't really move, guys. As you know, I might go, left, right, go into, accelerating, and I didn't really go very far at all. Now, I don't remember much of this experience, although it's been a while since I've had an experience. So sometimes I will lose practice when it's been a while. But what I recall is I was in an apartment of some sort, and I was having some difficulty opening the door this time. It was funny. I was trying to open the door. Now, doorways to me, regardless of how normal they look, doorways to me equal portals, okay? So that's what I'm really doing. I believe that I'm actually going through a portal when I go through an actual door. So after discussing this with my mother a bit, we kind of came to the conclusion that the whole door thing, and me having trouble opening the door had more to do with the fact that I hadn't matched frequency yet with this particular reality. So I was having some trouble going through it or being able to open it. So eventually I was able to open it, and I don't remember my initial observations, guys. What I saw in the very beginning, I can't recall much. What I do remember was thinking, this place wasn't necessarily the I'm not going to say it was dangerous. I'm going to say it would be like you getting to a neighborhood and thinking, this isn't necessarily the nicest neighborhood. That was something that was in my head. And that was probably one of the reasons why I started to rise up into the air. Now, in this particular reality, I was able to fly. For those of you who have listened to my other beyond body shifting experiences, there are places that I am not necessarily able to fly, or it's more difficult. In this particular reality, I was able to get up in the air very fast. I went way up into the air. And as I was rising, what I do remember was there were mountains that were composed completely of rock. And above those mountains were these silos. And these silos, I guess they look kind of like nuclear silos, I guess, but they were all numbered. There were numbers on these silos. And I remember seeing someone was climbing up one of the silos. And as I was watching them climb up one of the silos, they just disappeared. They vanished. It was as if they were there. It wasn't like they disappeared into the silo. What happened was, as they were walking up, they just faded away and vanished. Again, one of the theories that my mom and I kind of came up with was perhaps these silos were apartments or houses. And that was the way they went into their dwellings, their houses. It's interesting because I think people have this idea when they travel to different realities. I've seen this on the shifting Reddit. Many times I think we project what we think it's going to be like in another reality. Oh, it's going to be similar to this. Oh, there's going to be this and that. And certainly, are there realities that are similar to this 3D reality? Yes, I have experienced those realities. But there are some realities that are so different than this place that it is hard for my mind to wrap itself around. It is so different, so unique. And that's what a lot of people don't talk about. But these are the things and these are the experiences that I've had. There are realities that are vastly different than this one, to the point where it is difficult to understand exactly what it is that I'm seeing. But there are also realities that are very similar in certain ways. Now, at some point, as I was floating up, I started to kind of move sort of around and kind of check things out on these rocky mountains, just looking down on them. And I tell you, I saw a tiger and what appeared to be an orangutan. Yes, I said it. A tiger and what appeared to be an orangutan, and they seemed to be playing together, almost fighting. And there was a couple, I would assume they were a couple, a man and woman, and I saw them. And I'm not sure if I waved to them or something like that. I acknowledged them. I could see them from a distance. But it was just interesting watching these things happen. And at some point, I kind of looked down. I was thinking to myself, I think it's about time to go. So kind of in my mind, I thought to myself, okay, I'm choosing to leave this reality. I think I've seen enough. I'm going to go back. So I went back. I opened my eyes and the experience was done. It was an interesting experience, a brief experience. All my experiences are very interesting. I think I told someone once that it's not the length of an experience that matters, but the quality of the experiences. At least that's what I think about. So that was this experience, guys. But something else I wanted to talk about. I wanted to provide a quick, what I think of as a tip, and maybe this tip has been out there for a while. Mr. Same, that's what this person calls themselves, said something when they were talking about, I did a video on lucid dreaming, and this person was saying one of the ways they were able to control their lucid dream was by obscuring their vision with their eyes. They were able to cover their eyes, and when Mr. Same would take their hands away, then the scene or the scenery, they could change it into anything they wanted to change it into. So that was the way they were able to control their environment in a lucid dream, by covering their eyes and then covering their eyes with their hand and then taking their hand away. And I would think, once they take their hand away, then everything changes. And I started thinking to myself, this is so interesting, because one of the ways that I am able to transition in lucid dreams, when I do have lucid dreams, is to jump into the air and fly. That's one of my things. That's one of the ways that I am able to transition. And what I was wondering about other folks out there. How is it that you transition if you are able to lucid dream? By the way, I think lucid dreaming is a tool that people don't use. People have talked and asked this question: is lucid dreaming a bridge to both astral projection or to shifting? This is something that I think I've answered before in saying, yes, I believe it is, because I've been able to do it. I've been able to transition from a lucid dream into an AP experience, an astral projection experience. So yes, I do believe that you can transition to it. And I also think, for those of you who are struggling, lucid dreaming is a way of really trying to get in there at sort of the starting point, really seriously, because for me, that's how it all began. It really all began with me with lucid dreams, when I was a little kid. And then, of course, I went up into astral projection. But I think it is that. And I think if you can work on accomplishing a lucid dream, then perhaps you can develop your own technique within the dream to be able to transition from one experience to another. I'll give you an example. I'll give you the example of me transitioning at one point, where I was on a plane. I was sitting in coach class on a plane in a dream. I realized I was in a dream. I unbuckled my seatbelt and I flew through the whole of the plane, and then I was airborne. And as I looked down, I was in a desert. I transitioned from being in a lucid dream to being to astral projecting. So perhaps there are things you can do within the dream to provide yourself a portal or a doorway to be able to go from the lucid dream experience into the astral projection experience, or even the shifting experience. You can do anything you want. This is, it's always been my philosophy, is you do what feels comfortable for you. You do what works for you. I see too much of this in the subreddit, in my opinion. I see too much of people trying to follow everybody. Please, guys, stop trying to follow people. Follow your own instincts. I trust you. I trust your judgment. I trust your imagination. You can come up with this stuff. You're creative enough to come up with your own techniques within a lucid dream to be able to transition from one space to another. It could be a doorway. It could be a simple door. You might imagine a door. You open a door, you step into the door, and you're suddenly into astral projection, or you're suddenly shifting into another reality. It could be that. It could be you jumping into the air and flying, or it could be something else. Perhaps in a lucid dream, you create a machine where you could be able to do that. You walk into this, you get, maybe like a time machine or something like that. Or a machine, you say, is able to take you to different realities, or to help you to get to astral projection. And once you design that machine, you're able to use that machine to be able to transition. Whatever it is that works for you, guys, whatever it is that works for you. So I'd like to thank Mr. Same for inspiring me with this particular part of the video. Thank you so much, Mr. Same. I really appreciate it. And that's going to be my video for the day. Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates Christmas. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. And until next time, Take care.